el exec, el Vele, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 88 of the Exec Talk. I am your host, Alvarez. Little quick one right here, little quick episode here on a Friday. I couldn't do an episode yesterday. My grandpa came in from Puerto Rico. We're going to the NHRA races in Gainesville, so I'm excited for that. I haven't been to one in a while, but a little quick. We're gonna hit the free agency kind of rumors that are going around, all the cuts, all the signings to this point from the NFL. We're gonna hit some injuries in the NBA. Steph Curry, Karl Anthony Towns, some back-to-back losses for the Boston Celtics. Are people finally realizing that it doesn't matter till they get to the postseason? I don't know, but we're going to talk about a little bit of baseball, just some overview things that I want to see in the regular season, and a little bit about Formula One. Qualifying for Jeddah is after this episode. Basically, it starts at 12. So we don't know the grid yet, but from what we saw in free practice 1 and 2, it seems like Fernando Alonso can maybe challenge for the pole. He ran fastest yesterday in free practice 2. Verstappen won free practice 3 today. He was like a 10th up. So I don't know how to gauge it, but I hope that because Jeddah's a high-speed track, maybe there's other cars that thrive under those conditions. So let's talk about the NFL, because there was some cuts yesterday. Well, last 2 days, there was some cuts that for teams that did them. Those are big players. Like, those are players that have been there, stood the test of time, has won all pros and stuff like that. So let's start. Yesterday, Broncos cut Justin Simmons. Yes, the all-pro safety. The Bears, we're going to talk about them. They signed Jalen Johnson, the amazing corner, to a 4-year, $76 million contract. We'll break down the contract, how it goes. Steelers are expected to meet with Russell Wilson. That would be very interesting. Rams re-signed Kevin Dotson, the guard, to protect Matthew Stafford. And then the Saints extend the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. It's his home state. I expected him to stay 2 years, $13 million. So Brandon Scherff, the Jaguars are working. They were working to keep the O-line together at the Jaguars. Now, this doesn't mean that they shouldn't look to upgrade, but this at least keeps everything in place from last year, because they already played Ezra Cleveland 2 days ago, and the Scherff cap number is $24 million. So they restructured the contract so they can keep themselves under the cap and keep him. Then the Rams, they re-signed Kevin Dotson, like I said, 3-year, $48 million, $32 million guaranteed. So he stays as a big part of that line in the inside and in the interior. Now, for the Rams, I think the big key is they have to get some defensive firepower. And what I mean by that is just like, it's just AD right now. It's just Aaron Donald. It's just Byron Young. You need something on the other side so they don't overload one side wherever Byron Young is, and then triple team AD, and then you really don't have no pass rush. Now, I don't think that the Rams this year are going to be particularly amazing. Now, with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, I mean, and Kyron Williams, if he keeps playing the way he was playing last year, then, they can make some noise. But looking at the NFC as it stands right now before the draft, if you were to look forward at the NFC after the draft, Caleb in Chicago, Jaden Daniels in Washington, that adds a little bit of competition. I would hope it wouldn't stay as easy as it is, especially for the Rams. That you got it's Seattle 49ers, Arizona, and them. Really tough division. Probably the toughest division in the NFC. I know that you people don't like Arizona, but Kyler with Marvin Harrison Jr., which I think is who's they take at 4, would be a very scary proposition for anybody trying to guard. Just saying. So Jalen Johnson got a 4-year divided by, basically, so he gets $60 million in the first 3 years, including $54 million guaranteed. He could potentially hit the market again at 28, which puts him at the prime age to get that second contract after. So it would be his third because rookie deal. But if you think of it as which ones he signed, it'd be his second signing extension contract at 28, which is a prime. Doesn't leave him kind of cut out and dry. If he's still at the peak, he could get another real big deal before maybe declining in his early 30s. So he gets $48.8 million guaranteed at signing. That's pretty good, with 28 in the first year guaranteed. That's pretty good. $76 million deal, 4 years, and considering that he's an All-Pro, and that he was probably the best defensive player before Montez Sweat came over, and he was in trade talks and everything like that. Locking him down locks down that defense, especially to lock down wide receiver ones in that, not just that division, but also that conference. I mean, if you look at who they have to face, who's your number one in the Packers? Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Bo Melton. You got that. The Lions, you got to stop Amon-Ra. Maybe Jamison Williams next year. So I think that it's very nice and then the Vikings, you got to stop JJ if they pay him. I think they're gonna pay him, so you got to stop Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, depending if JJ's out. So that's very good for the Bears to pay Jalen Johnson. I expected that. I didn't expect them to let him walk, because you don't find a Jalen Johnson every day, kind of like what I told the Chiefs with L'Jarius Sneed. But I think that they have a lot of work to do, obviously. I think that they should add another pass rusher, maybe in the second or third round of this draft. They're going to add either Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors at that 8 spot. And then they're going to have Caleb. So things are kind of looking up and up for the Bears, but it could all go downhill because of the Bears. So they haven't done anything good with a quarterback in over 40 years. Shout out to Jim McMahon. The former Falcons tight end, the guy who basically took all the reps for Kyle Pitts, that every single week I was like, why are we not throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts in Atlanta? It's gonna be a Dolphin. The deal is supposed to be worth 2 years, up to $10 million. They've communicated that they will sign him. They have announced that they have signed Jonnu Smith. Listen, we need a tight end. Some people say, if Brock Bowers is dropping, maybe we should go trade up and go get him. Brock Bowers ain't going to drop. Brock Bowers is going to show out at his pro day and probably cement himself as a top 15 pick, if not top 12, in my humble opinion. I think he's just too good. People are going to see the value in him. If you look at the past Super Bowl champions, Kelsey, Gronk, I mean the lowest one on the tier is what you could say Higbee, but he's pretty good. So, and before that it was Kelsey, Gronk. You look at even the Eagles, it was Ertz. So, I think overall, I think that it's a good signing, but I would like maybe a younger, more explosive type of tight end. I like the veteran presence, but at the same time, like, come on, guys, like we're the fastest offense in the NFL. Like, we need to put some semblance of fear into the opponent at the tight end position. I don't think that does it. So I hope we do something more. The Saints are expected to release Michael Thomas soon. That's an end of an era. Michael Thomas, one of the most, before his ankle injuries and everything that got basically taken away from him with injuries the last few years, he was one of the best receivers in the NFL, a.k.a. slant boy. Can't guard Mike. And most dependable. He broke the record for catches in a season with 159. He's just a beast, and hopefully he could get healthy, and we'll see where he lands. Very interesting player to give maybe a second chance to on a prove-it deal. I'm looking at a place maybe like it'd be interesting. Arizona, pair him up with Marvin Harrison Jr., give him that veteran leadership. I could see the Patriots snooping around. They always like veteran wide receivers, even though Bill's not there. So we'll see struggling veteran wide receivers, Ocho Cinco and Mike Wallace, and a bunch of, has-beens that they've signed over the years that haven't worked. But it is an end of an era. They drafted him at Ohio State. He was amazing for Drew Brees, and yeah, so we'll see where he goes. I mean, it'd be very interesting if he does pop off this year again, if he gets another deal next year. Keanu Neal, shout out to Florida Gators. The Steelers released him to make $2.25 million in cap space to save it. I get it. They're probably going to draft in more defensive personnel, especially on that back end in the draft. They like to do that a lot. They did it with Joey Porter Jr. last year in the first round, but I think that at safety and at nickel, I think there's a lot of talent, especially at nickel in this draft. So if they do need a big thumper, which is what Keanu was, or they need a ball hawk back there that can cover, they could definitely find what they're looking for in the draft. I don't know about the free agent market unless they want to pay big bucks for like L'Jarius Sneed or something like that. But he's more of a cover corner. He's not really like Keanu was more like a thumper. He was like hit. Jaguars re-signed Ezra Cleveland to 2 years, $28.5 million. Keeping both guards in order for Trevor Lawrence. And then the Patriots signed offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorokafor. En su casa lo conocen. That means in his house they know him because it is a hell of a name. But I mean, anything with the Patriots, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. From now to the end of the season, to the start of the season, even with the draft, anything with the Patriots has to be taken with a grain of salt. Why? Because you are, as a Patriots fan, I'm talking to you guys. As a Patriots fan, you don't have to think about the team. No, you have to think about first your division. And right now, you are deficient at every single position relative to that position in the rest of your division. Deficient at quarterback, deficient at wide receiver, deficient at pass rusher. Yeah, I think you could say that. I mean, Jermaine Johnson, you got Quinnen Williams in the middle, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Ed Oliver. Yeah, I think you're deficient there too. You know, all you got is Matthew Judon. So on the back end, maybe you got a little Kyle Duggar and Christian Gonzalez when he comes back. Maybe he bolsters up that back end. But right now, you're looking at your division, and you are not in many spots that are very important. You are deficient in all of them, and you have a rookie head coach. That doesn't bode well at all. Okay, at all. Justin Simmons getting cut is surprising because I don't understand how you could have a very legit safety in this league. You're not paying much to anyone. I don't think so. You just got rid of. I mean, I guess you have to take the dead cap hit for Russell Wilson, but how can you just let go of Justin Simmons? This is gonna be like when Seattle last year let go of Jesse Bates, and he went out and did amazing in Atlanta. This is exactly what's gonna happen with this dude. Whoever signs him is gonna get an all-pro safety, ball hawk. Guy's led, I think, the last 3 years. I think he's led all safeties with picks. Potentially scary. Who could go get him? Well, the Patriots will definitely be in the mix. I believe the Chargers could be in the mix to try to pair him up with Derwin James. I believe Tampa could be in the mix to try to pair him up with Antoine Winfield. The Packers could try to swoop in. The Bears may possibly. Washington, they need a legit safety. The Giants to pair him up with Jordan Love. Is it Jordan Love? Is it the same name? I always forget if it's the same name, the safety as the quarterback. Seattle just let go of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. That actually might make the most sense to me. It's Justin Simmons to Seattle, so we gotta watch that. I don't have no insider information, but that would make a lot of sense to me because they got rid of. He's young still. He's really good, rangy. I think we'll give Mike McDonald a very nice piece back there, and also a communicator, a leader in the back end. So we'll see. Jaguars give Ezra Cleveland, like we said, 3 years, 28.5, $14.5 million guaranteed. They traded for him from Cleveland last year, and they keep him off the market because he did pretty well. Von Miller reworked his contract. He lowered his $17.15 million base to 1.5 plus a $7 million signing bonus. For a total base of 8.5 million, and there are also reachable incentives to get him back up to 17.145, and higher incentives up around to 20 million total. So they cleared cap space by signing him by basically fronting him a signing bonus to take off the main cap number at the end, and then the incentives still get him to his original number. And supposedly they're reachable. I don't know how reachable they are because last year he could barely touch the field. So we'll see, coming off of the ACL being, I think, 34. We'll see how he does. Now let's get to the Bills. Oh my God. When I saw how many people they cut, I was like, oh shit. Ready? I'm going to just rattle them off. Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, Siran Neal, Deontay Hardy, and Nyheim Hines. $25.96 million in cap space. That's how much it will create. They entered the offseason with $40 million over the cap. And that's And that's after the bump in the cap to 255. When it was at 233, they were like 60 something million off. Like, they were really far off. So they released Tre'Davious White, another corner that can find themselves. This is a corner that can find themselves going to the Patriots. Would be another one of these teams that would probably like look for, he sounds like a Patriots type of player. Gerard Mayo would probably like him. This is the type of person that you see a 49ers kind of swoop up and put him next to Charvarius Ward. He could be the Chiefs, like, they might poke around to see if they're going to lose just L'Jarius Sneed. Maybe see if they get Tre'Davious White and keep that lock on that CB1. But overall, because of the injuries and all that, we'll see where he goes. He could go to a garbage team. I mean, he could go to Atlanta. He could get signed by Arizona to try to add some type of semblance to that back end at the cornerback spot. They could try to the Bears could try to go get him and put him next to Jalen Johnson. The Giants potentially. Tennessee. Like, there's a lot of people that need like solid to really good cornerback play. And yeah, he's coming off the injury, but I think he's still young, and I think he can still contribute very much so to a very good secondary. So they release him. That opened up another $10.2 million, but only after June 1st. Everybody has to be under the cap by next week. I believe next week, Wednesday. You know how the salary cap gymnastics happen. Move signing bonus forward, void years back. Like, they're going to find a way to be under the cap. But it's tough because he's going to be designated as a post-June 1 cut. We'll save him 10.2 on the salary cap. With 6.2 in dead money, his contract will remain on Buffalo's books until then. He's free to sign with a new team as early as next week. We'll see. I think the market around him will be a little harder than most people. Him and Justin Simmons. Now, cutting Jordan Poyer, all-pro safety, that's another one that could go to Seattle. That's another one that, if they really wanted to, they could go get Justin Simmons and Jordan Poyer and pair them up, and then you have a hell of a safety duo back there. But I think that overall, this just shows, like, when you go all in, and that's what the Bills did last year, or the last few years, but last year especially, when you go all in and you don't get there. The Rams kind of survived it a little bit. So did Tampa Bay, although the Rams had a horrible season, not last year, but the year before, right after the Super Bowl. Excuse me. It's in the morning. Right after the Super Bowl. So what I think is that Josh Allen has to carry this team offensively till they can recharge, unless they recharge through the draft and then just go defense, and draft one offensive weapon and maybe look for an offensive weapon in the market, like a Michael Thomas or something like that, because I think they're trying to either move Gabe Davis or keep him, but making him a number 3 and add somebody that can actually add some, fear into everybody else so they don't double or triple team Stephon Diggs all the time. So, but the releasing of All-Pro Poe is going to be a big signing for somebody else because he can still play. He's still at the top of his game. He has some injuries, but overall, he's one of the best safeties in the league. The Commanders signed Zach Ertz to a 1-year deal. Now, this is big because he was with Kingsbury in Arizona, and he was with Kyler and everything like that. So when he said it, he talked to Pat McAfee yesterday, and he said as soon as I got released, it was kind of like an easy fit because he likes Cliff and he likes the offense. So the Commanders have a tight end for 1 year. to add to Logan Thomas if he's going to stay, if he's going to get cut, if he's going to be hurt all year like he usually is. Who knows? But they have a tight end for presumably Jaden Daniels, who I think that's who they're going to pick at number 2. Micah, the Cowboys are exercising the 5th-year option for Micah Parsons. That was obvious. Like, come on, it's Micah Parsons. But they're designating him as a D end instead of a linebacker, which basically saves them $3 million on the cap. So interesting things there, but I don't think he cares because he's gonna be one of the highest paid dudes. Everybody who got franchise tag, we can go through it real quick. Justin Madubuike, Brian Burns, Jalen Johnson signed. T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Josh Allen, Jaguars, L'Jarius Sneed, and Antoine Winfield. The transition tag went to Kyle Duggar in New England. We expected all these to go down. Brian Burns especially, Madubuike, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Josh Allen. Sneed, we already knew. Antoine Winfield, we already knew. Jalen Johnson just got paid. So do I expect most of these guys to get paid? L'Jarius Sneed, definitely. Just, I don't know if it's by the Chiefs. Winfield will stay with Tampa. Michael Pittman will stay with Indianapolis. T. Higgins, I think, is staying in Cincinnati. From what I'm hearing, it seems like they want to get something done. Brian Burns would be a very interesting. See if they pay him. If they don't, I think Canales will want to keep him, so I believe they'll pay him. And Madubuike, I think, is staying at the Ravens. If not, they're drafting somebody. Because you don't let the guy that led your team in sacks go. The players not tagged are kind of a big deal. Chris Jones, got to pay him. Christian Wilkins, we're not going to pay him for some reason. I don't know. They think that they grow on trees. They don't. Saquon, he's going to find a home and be very happy there and probably get more touches and better O-line blocking and have a very good season. Josh Jacobs, I don't think that he leaves the Raiders because I think Antonio Pierce wants him. Max Crosby likes him. The whole team likes him. He was drafted there out of Alabama, hard worker, really good player, still young. I think that he stays at the Raiders. Michael Onwenu, yeah, if I'm being honest, I look at this name. I've seen it on the back of a jersey before, and I don't remember what team they're on. So we'll get back to that. Baker Mayfield, got to pay him because if not, he's going to leave. And since he was on a prove-it deal, I think they'll pay him. They want to pay him. They want him to stay. He wants to stay. I think that they'll find even ground and find a deal. Now, an interesting one for me is Calvin Ridley. Because, are you going to give that connection one more year? Do you want to find something in the draft? They're potentially a team for, an Adonai Mitchell, an Xavier Worthy, Xavier Legette, a Keon Coleman possibly. I see the Jaguars looking for some type of weapon in the draft if they can't get any type of real value in free agency. And then Xavier McKinney, I think he's going to find another team. He's a little older. I think he's going to find another team. We released Jerome Baker. Yay. Woo. That's horrible. It's awful. We released our starting linebacker. Now we got to find another one. I don't want to find another one. They discussed the restructured contract, but the two sides couldn't reach an agreement. They left the door open for him to come back if he chooses. Hopefully they do. And then finally, the Colts placed the franchise tag on Michael Pittman. He had a career-high 109 receptions last year with 1,152 yards. He is their number one. Alec Pierce has to develop a little bit more. Josh Downs was a rookie last year. He's their number one. He's the most dependable running wide receiver in that team, and I think that he's going to be Anthony Richardson's favorite target if they don't draft him, Brock Bowers. Now, like I said, the Seahawks released Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. They saved $27.5 million in cash and significant cap space. So Mike McDonald is already making the moves. Like I said, that he could go after a Justin Simmons. He could go after a Jordan Poyer. The safeties in this class are not really like crazy good. So if I was Mike McDonald, I would try to get one of them, preferably Justin Simmons, just because he's younger, more rangy, kind of fits my style a little bit more. Devin Witherspoon is a rangy corner, so is Tariq Woolen. So having Justin Simmons back there, I think, would be a very nice addition. And to pair him up with Love, because Love came from the Giants to over there. To pair him up with Love, I think it would be a very good idea. And yeah, so that's all we know so far about the tags and free agency signings and everything like that in the NFL. If we go to basketball, okay, some big news happened yesterday, late night. So first of all, the first news that came out, Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, Cat, has suffered a left meniscus injury. We don't know what it is, but it remains unclear about how much time, if any, if he's going to require the miss. Town and the teams are working to get a full understanding of the degree of the injury, whether it demands immediate action. I think that an update came out. I want to say late last night, maybe. This is big because this kind of opens the door for. So, yeah. This came out 12 hours ago. So, Minnesota Timberwolves star Karl Anthony Towns will undergo surgery to repair a torn left meniscus and will be reevaluated in a month. As expected, Towns will return by early in the Western Conference playoffs. Okay, so what this means, this is all going to fall on Anthony Edwards now. They're gonna bet that Rudy can be the defensive anchor while Anthony Edwards goes ballistic every night. His scoring is gonna get upped to around 30. I believe he's gonna be up there now. He scored 44 last night, looked dominant. The way he ended the game was something that you'll remember forever. Once he becomes one of the greats and wins a couple championships, it'll be one of those games where you kind of just saw it. The guy jumped. He was facing the Pacers, hit the the go-ahead shot, and then so he gets fouled, makes a free throw, makes it a 2-point game, misses the second free throw, so it's a 2-point game. They get it off the rebound, and he basically sprints down, chases Aaron Naismith, and jumps so high. He said, "This is the highest I've jumped in my life." Jumps so high, hits the back of his head on the backboard, on the rim, and then blocks Naismith's shot to end the game. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But now it's gonna be tough for them to, against like the big how do I say? Against like the best teams, they have to show that they can still keep up the winning ways. This puts Anthony Edwards at a position that maybe he could try to go get. If he gets the number 1 seed and he averages 30 for the next 20 games, possibly in the MVP conversation. I'm not talking about winning it over Jokic or Shea, but possibly in the talks to get maybe some third place votes since he has number 1 in the West if he stays there. Also, it also gives a chance for Jaden McDaniels to get really ramped up for the playoffs offensively. He has to score more. He's got ball in his hands more. Now the cat's not there. Anthony Edwards is going to look for a valve, and Conley and him are going to be the 2 valves that he's probably looking for, most likely. So, overall, I think that they should be fine, but it all depends on Anthony Edwards and not getting bogged down, not the offense not getting bogged down. Because defense is going to be pretty good, but the offense getting bogged down is what I worry about. Steph Curry, unfortunately, twisted his ankle yesterday against the Bulls. They lost against the Bulls by 1. They should have won. It would have been nice to get another win to try to put themselves up another win over the Lakers so you're not basically tied still for 9 and 10. But the twist of the ankle was serious. It looked like it hurt, and he was limping clearly. I hope that it's not a super sprained ankle. Nothing has come out yet about it. Seems like the team is still optimistic that everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. His ankles have been a problem for his career, especially going back to even before like 2010, 2011, when he had real problems, 2012. But losing to by 3, losing to Bulls, like DeMar DeRozan went nuts, like the whole game, getting fouled, scoring the middies like crazy. He scored 33. He went 10 for 17, 6 from 3-point line. And then also Vucevic gave you 33. He went 14 for 23, 3 for 6 from the 3-point line, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And Kobe White scored 27 for 16, 2 for 6 from 3. And you even got 10 from Javon Carter. So it was and Dosunmu dropped 14. So it was a pretty evenly distributed affair for the Chicago Bulls at Gold State. Draymond gave you 11, Kuminga gave you 19, Wiggins gave you 8, Curry gave you 15, Pajinski gave you 11, Clay gave you 25, Chris Paul gave you 15, Moody gave you 10, but they just roll it out. And it sucks because then that affects the standings because now there's still no separation between them and the Lakers. What I want to say about Curry is probably this is going to put a lot of emphasis on overall rotations and finding shots. So it's not going to be, if you thought that they moved a lot with Curry was there, I think that Curry's going to double down on movement and cut more and flash screens and, pin so many pin downs probably for Clay. Going to put the ball in Wiggins' hand. It could be a blessing in disguise, essentially. Why? Because this happened in the 2022 season when they went and won the championship. And this is how Wiggins got his mojo. This is how Jordan Poole was also doing good. But I think Pajinski, Wiggins, and Kuminga is what's going to carry this team through this Curry-less stretch with the defense of Draymond Green, Trace Jackson Davis. Pajinski plays good defense, so does Kuminga. But I think they're going to live on the defensive end and then just take advantage of the athleticism and the overall energy and youth that they have on the offensive end and just let Clay be Clay. And I think Chris Paul's going to have a much more increased role in scoring. He's going to be look forward to, put up more shots, maybe some more threes, more middies, have the ball in his hands a little bit more, create. So I think it's not a blessing in disguise because of where they are in the standings and where they have to go to potentially get out of the play-in, but it's a blessing in disguise because it could prime everybody to be at the peak of their performance when Curry comes back for the playoffs like they did in 2022. I told you that the Celtics were not fool's gold, but it has to be proven in the playoffs. Okay? Has to be proven in the playoffs. 2 games in a row, they lose for the first time, I think, since October. They lose to the Nuggets. 115-109 in Denver. Game was close. Felt like a finals game. It felt like a playoff game. But what happens? In the fourth quarter, in the last 5 minutes of the game, but usually last 3 minutes for Denver. In the last 3 minutes of the game, what happens? Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, 2-man game. If you focus too much on that, Aaron Gordon hits you with 3 straight alley-oops. And then even when Jokic misses the little bunny hop from 3 feet, Here comes Aaron Gordon jumping 40 inches in the air, grabbing the ball by his hip, and then cocking it and just dropping that shit off, dunking it. It was an incredible game. Shout out to Aaron Gordon. He had a great game. But who had a great game was who I think is going to be the MVP. Another triple-double for Jokic. Nothing new. Tatum. Disappointing. 2 games in a row. Under 20. 2 games in a row under 20. 5 for 13. 2 of 5 from the 3. 4 rebounds. 8 assists. 4 for personal fouls. 15 points. That's not going to get it done. Porzingis went 9 for 23. 3 for 10 from 3. 30%. 12 rebounds. 2 assists. 24 points. Okay, so he gave you what you expect from him, 20 plus. Drew Holiday gave you 12. Hit 2 big threes to try to cut the lead down to 1 in the late in the fourth quarter. Derek White gave you 7. He went 0 for 4 from 3. He went 3 for 8 from the field on 37 minutes. And then Jaylen Brown, 16 for 29, 2 for 7 from 3, 41 points with 14 rebounds and 4 assists. Listen, as much as they blow people out, if it's a rock fight, I'm picking the other team. If it's a good team, if it's Denver, if it's Minnesota, if it's Golden State, even the Lakers, like I'm picking the other team. Because when it comes to late game execution and shot selection, the Boston Celtics are horrid, abhorrent, horrible at deciphering what they need in the last 3 minutes of a game when down 1 or up 1 to try to seal the deal. And that's why Denver, to me, will win the championship if they meet in the finals. To me, it's Denver in 6, personally. The Kings beat the Spurs 131-119 behind DeMontis Sabonis. The Suns beat the Raptors. The Mavericks beat the Heat. We were on a heater. The Heat were. We fought. Duncan Robinson gave us 19. Jimmy gave us 14. That's probably why we lost. He didn't give us over 20. Adebayo gave us 14. Another disappointment. Terry Rozier gave us 27, so it looks like he's back in rhythm like he was in Charlotte. Caleb Martin gave us 13. Jaime gave us 13. But, what did Dallas do? Well, Kyrie gave you 23, and then Luka gave you 35, 11, and 11. Tim Hardaway gave you 11. Dante Exum gave you 13, and some big shots at the end, some big threes. It's a slip up, but for Dallas, this is really good because they were slipping the last four or five games, and this keeps them kind of in the loop to try to get out of that play-in still because they were 8 seed, so now they have to work their way up to the 6th or higher. Now, Timberwolves, like I said, they beat the Pacers. Ant went for 44 and 6-6. Absolutely incredible. He was super efficient too. Ant went 18 for 35, 3 of 7 from 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 44 points, 1 personal foul. So very good. Nas Reed gave you 13. Nikhil Alexander-Walker gave you 10. Rudy Gobert gave 18. Jaden McDaniels, the 11 points. I think that's where it has to go up. I think he has to be around 15 to 18 points a game with Cat out for them to consistently be able to score over 115 and their defense stay intact enough that they can amount wins without Cat. All right, now let's go to the standings. So Boston lost a game to Milwaukee. So now Milwaukee's 7.5 games back. That doesn't mean anything. There's too little time left for them to make that up. So it's gonna be Boston, Milwaukee. If Cleveland doesn't like wake up again, I think it's gonna be Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Orlando. I told you guys when Franz came back, I was like, they're gonna make a run. Remember, they were in the 8th seed. This team is young, okay? Kind of like the Thunder team out west. Not at the same caliber with Shea and stuff like that, but Paolo and Franz and Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac, like Joe Ingles, they're playing really well, okay? And they're 4th right now, 11.5 games back of the 3rd spot, which seems like probably not doable, but it can be done. It's not like it's 8 games. They've won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're playing really good ball. Paolo Banchero's playing really good basketball. So is Franz. And Boston's 8-2 in their last 10. They've lost the last 2. Milwaukee's 7-3 in their last 10. And Cleveland's 5-5 in their last 10. So that's the one who's sputtering there after going on a heater. The Knicks are still 5. Half a game back of 4. They have to somehow, some way, figure it out with the injuries just to get to be 4th. They need home court advantage in order to be very, very scary in the playoffs. Their defense travels, but they would much rather have 4 games at MSG than 3 and a game 7. If it comes down to that, they're 3-7 in their last 10, so it's kind of been tough without everybody there. But I think that they'll right the ship. We're 6th, Miami 6th, 1 game back of 5, a game and a half back of 4. So we can potentially get to the 4th spot, which is kind of crazy to think about. Miami. Getting to the 4th spot, having home court, at least for the first round of the playoffs. We're 7-3 in our last 10. We just lost to Dallas, but I think we're doing really well. We're still only scoring 110 points, 0.7 a night, and holding people to 110. That's not good, but that's what we've been all season. I think we'll pick that up as we get closer to the postseason. Because we start turning it up, the playoff knobs a little bit, and Eric and Jimmy and Bam start really ratcheting it up the intensity. 76ers have dropped all the way to 7. They're in the play-in, tied with us, 13 games back. So it was 0 games back of the 6th spot, but they're tied with us, and I think we hold a tiebreaker on them. So they've 4-6 in their last 10, lost 2 in a row. So they're hoping that they get Joel Embiid, or there's some sign a silver lining in the future. Indiana dropped to 8. They're 14 back, a game back of 6 and 7. They're 5-5 in the last 10. Tyrese, I mean, look, if we look at the splits, it's just like they score 123.3, but they give up 121.8. So that buffer zone of 1.5 points can swing every single game. You know, that's not a sustainable amount of winning a differential in points for you to be comfortable in any game. I think that could switch. That you're talking about essentially 2 points, which is 1 basket. So, that stuff. Chicago they're 17.5 games back. They're not getting, and Atlanta's 20 games back. So I think Chicago's even staying at 9. I think Atlanta stays there. Brooklyn lost to the Pistons. They're out of it. Ben Simmons is out for the season. What? Man, this man has played. This is hilarious. Like 2022. 2022, this man played 0 of 82 games. The last 3 seasons. 2023, 42 of 82. Horrible. This year, 15 of 82. In the last 3 seasons, this man has played 57 games and missed 189. Don't complain about Zion Williamson when Ben Simmons is out there. That's all I'm saying. Don't complain about Zion Williamson when Ben Simmons is out there doing that type of on a big contract. You know, he's stealing right now. Toronto lost Scotty Barnes. They're gonna hit the tank. Charlotte already hit the tank. Detroit has 10 wins. Good job. Didn't think you guys would make it, to be honest. Washington's still at 9 wins, which is pathetic. They've lost 16 in a row. Yeah, that's horrible. The Western Conference, in the Winter Conference, Minnesota stays at 1 with the win over the Pacers. They stay a half game over OKC. 7-3 in their last 10. Ant is gonna have to go ballistic. I'm talking about 30 a game. He has to be 30 a game on good efficiency for them to keep scoring, and because the defense they're gonna hang their hat on defense, but without Cat, they lose the big guy in the middle. They're probably going to start Naz Reid, which is pretty good as a floor spacer compared to Cat. But I think Anthony Edwards is going to be up to the 30-point-a-game range until Cat comes back, which really primes him for the playoffs. OKC is a half game back. They're fine. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The top 4 is not going to move. The top 4 is only going to maybe switch around, especially the top 3 who are only separated by 1 game. Denver's 1 game back of the 1 seed. OKC's a half game back. And they're all doing great. 7-3 in their last 10, Minnesota. 8-2 in their last 10, OKC. And Denver 7-3 in their last 10. So they're doing great. Clippers are 3 games back, so a little bit of separation. Only 2 games, but with the other 3 playing that good, I don't know if they can amass enough wins against the non-losses of OKC, Minnesota, and Denver, unless Minnesota sputters with Cat out. They're 3 games back. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're going to stay at 4. New Orleans is at 5, playing good basketball. Trey Murphy's shooting the shit out of the ball. Zion's playing great. So is B.I. So is C.J. The whole team is playing really, really well. They're 6.5 games back of the 1 seed. They are 3.5 games back of the 4 seed of the Clippers. I don't think that they'll get there, but they're 7-3 in their last 10, 1-2 in a row. And I like what New Orleans is doing. That's my dark horse Western Conference finalist. Dark horse that you won't see coming. Phoenix is a half game back of them at 7 back. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They got Bradley Beal back, but now Devin Booker's out for a little time. So we'll see how they do that. They've won 2 in a row. I think that Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant is, I believe, from what I see on the floor, it's a more fluid type of offense because it's more KD-centric. And everybody knows the pecking order. When Devin Booker's there, it turns into kind of your turn, my turn with him and KD. But there's a lot more continuity, I believe, in Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant on the floor without Devin Booker. Not saying that they're a better team, but I'm saying that it looks more fluid and it looks a lot more cohesive when it's just Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant out there. But their offense with Devin Booker, Beal, and Durant is historic, is incredible. They can't play a lick of defense, but they're incredible. Sacramento, 7.5 games back, so a half game back of 6. So they clawed back up to trying to get out of the play-in. 6-4 in their last 10, 1-2 in a row. Playing really well. Malik Monk is playing really well off the bench still, just like he did last year. He just came off, I think, a 39-point game. De'Aaron Fox is doing what he does. Keegan Murray's playing well. Herder. Sabonis is playing absolutely incredible. He's leading the league in triple-doubles and double-doubles. I think he has 42 straight double-doubles. Crazy. Super underrated. Beat AD. So Sacramento looks a little dangerous right now. They were kind of sleepwalking. But when you look at the difference, Dallas is 2.5 games back. So there's separation from that 7 to 8 spot. So Dallas has their work cut out for them because they're 5-5 in their last 10, and they have to get out of the. If I'm Dallas, I want to get out of the play-in. I do not want to face Sacramento to get to the 7th seed, and then as the 7th seed, I get OKC, which is a great series in round 1. Even though, Luka and Kyrie, one has championship experience, the other one has playoff experience and playoff proven coach and stuff like that with Jason Kidd and stuff like that. So, maybe they do want OKC, but if I'm Dallas, I try to get out of there. Golden State, with the loss yesterday, are completely tied with the Boston Celtics. They're 7-3 in their last 10, so they're still kind of good. The Lakers are 6-4 in their last 10. But they're both 10.5 games back, tied with each other at 9-10. And the only thing separating 9 and 10 is a 1,000th of a point in the winning percentage. Lakers 0.531, Golden State 0.532. That is 9 and 10. That's how close it is. And that's it. The 10 is going to be the 10. It just depends on the order. The order could switch from 1 to 3, maybe 4. 4 might stay there, or it might switch from 4 to 7. They can change. 5 through 7 can definitely change. And then from what I'm looking now that Golden State is a game and a half back of Dallas in 8, 8 through 10 can switch because they're really close. But the 10 is that because Utah's 16 games back. That's 5.5 games back of the Lakers. They're not doing anything. Houston, they don't just give up and just stop playing the veterans and let Alfred Sengun play with Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson. They still don't have no Tari Eason. Memphis is lost this year. We knew that. Portland, Shaedon Sharp looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the year, supposedly. Haven't seen Scoot in like 4 games. Hopefully he's okay. He plays something before the season's over. And officially eliminated. Not even Washington's mathematically eliminated yet, but officially eliminated from the playoffs. San Antonio, 13-50 with Wemby, 3-7 in the last 10. You tune in to see Wemby. That's what you tune in to see. He didn't play yesterday. They lost. Devin Vassell played pretty well. But, yeah, so the Curry injury, the Karl Anthony Towns injury is are going to be 2 of the things that we're going to be monitoring over these next few games. Hopefully Curry's not as bad and maybe misses 2-3 games. They have they have an easy schedule, but a tough stretch coming up. I think they still have to face the Celtics again. They still have to face the Lakers again. So those are very, 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 very important games and have to be stressed. For Minnesota, I expect Anthony Edwards to rise to the occasion and really try to maximize his ability with Cat out. But at the same time, it depends on the defense. If they can keep up the same defensive intensity that they did with Cat yesterday, they did. They held a team that is scoring in the 120s to 113, 111. So that's pretty good. But I expect Anthony Edwards to take on the mantle of like Superman for these next few games. Until Cat gets back, and now he's going under surgery. So he's gone for a month at least, and that means Anthony Edwards has to put the cape on, go Jordan mode. I believe he can do it. If he does, I believe that he will make a strong case for himself for MVP. Not that he will pass Jokic, but he might get to number 2. And the reason I say that is because him just like Shea would be, to me, it'd be Jokic, Shea, him, because Luka is not in the top 5. If he was in the top 5 in the standings, then Luka would go definitely there. but I think Ant would jump Luka because of the team's success, especially if he's going ballistic this next month. Other than that, spring training is going well. The Yankees look stacked. The Dodgers look stacked. Shohei Ohtani looks like he's in midseason form, hitting doubles, singles, running, stealing bases. I mean, the guy looks like the Tommy John is not affecting him at all at the plate. So I'm very excited to see that. I want to see Jackson Holliday. I want to see Paul Skeens. I want to see Wyatt Langford for the Rangers. This season, I'm expecting Ellie De La Cruz to have a big year. O'Neal Cruz to have a big year for the Pirates. I'm expecting Jackson Holliday to possibly win Rookie of the Year in the AL. Corbin Carroll to be pushing for the MVP. Julio Rodriguez pushing for the MVP. Now that Shohei's out of there, but he's gonna be going against Aaron Judge, in my opinion, or Juan Soto for that AL MVP, and Corey Seager. I think the Braves are gonna be really good. My Cy Young pick as of now is Spencer Strider. I believe he's gonna be better this year. He added a curveball. It looks pretty good. I've seen in spring training. It looks pretty darn nasty. I want to see some of the young pitchers. I want to see Nick Lodolo pitch good, coming off the injuries. Max Scherzer's not going to start the season. Neither is DeGrom. So hopefully they play for the Rangers. Their rotation right now looks kind of iffy with that. I want to see Carlos Rodon for the Yankees get a bounce back. Sandy's not pitching for the Marlins, so it's going to be on Yuri Perez, Edwin Cabrera, and I think our ace is going to be Jesus Luzardo, the Jesus Lizard. Shout out to Pitching Ninja. I think that they're going to be... A lot of people are high on the Tigers. I get it. Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green. You got Tariq Skubal on the mound. Like, I like, and I see Javi Baez like slendered down, so hopefully he has his power back. He's back to stealing bases and playing a good shortstop and motivated again. But a lot of people have the Tigers winning that division. It's a horrible division, so it wouldn't surprise me. But people think Kansas City, the Royals have a good shot this year to make some noise. I think Bobby Witt's also going to push for the MVP in the AL. He's absolutely incredible. I want to see what Bo Bichette does this year, if he keeps the tear going, Vladdy. But with all that being said, I'm excited about baseball. But we're about a month away from opening day, so we'll keep talking about it as storylines get bigger and bigger through spring training. If there's any big debuts that are going to happen early in the season or even on the opening day roster, Jackson Holliday, Wyatt Langford, people like that, Dylan Cruz. But other than that, I mean, I'm excited for baseball season. Basketball season is getting really, really serious. Formula One, we'll see. Hopefully Verstappen does not dominate Jeddah, but we'll talk about it next Tuesday and we'll see what happens. It's all about race pace with Verstappen. Like you can even get, like, Charles Leclerc got poles last year, but when it came to the race in the first corner, once Verstappen gets the lead, I mean, it's over. It's like, that's what it is. It's like you feel it in sinking feeling on the bottom of your pit of your stomach. It's like, damn, can't catch him. But yeah, that has been episode 88 of the Exec Talk with El Velez. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on all my socials. Links are in the description. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Clips are starting to go up on my social medias. We got shorts, clips, reels, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube shorts. I'm excited for you guys to interact with those. Hit me in the comments with any of your takes, anything that you said you think I was wrong. I would love to debate that with you in my DMs, in my comments in TikTok, in the YouTube shorts, everything that you guys want. I will be interacting with you guys. I love that. And once we get enough questions, we can get a Q&A going, and that'd be very exciting for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. And I leave you with the outro.